Federal courts are the last bastion to protect our democracy. And they're doing a yeoman's job right now with over 92 cases filed against the Trump administration, more than 35 preliminary injunctions and temporary restraining orders already. And we're only 5 weeks into this administration. No, that's not normal. No, that's that, or yes, that is aberrational and rogue. And I cover it all on a new podcast on the Midas Touch Network we call Popok Live. Here's a clip. Let's pick up with these 92 cases and our 34 or so injunctions and temporary restraining orders. We have a new one that just came in, a few that have just came in the last couple of days. One just today. Judge Ali Khan, a Biden appointee, just issued her memorandum of opinion to against the Trump administration, against the Office of Management and Budget, against Russ Vought, who is the self-proclaimed father of Project 2025, because she doesn't believe anything that the Trump administration has to say in her courtroom about funding. Remember, in the beginning of February, Donald Trump thought it would be fun to shut off $3 trillion worth of funding to not-for-profits that rely on federal grants. They've applied for them. The Congress has awarded them, and they should be getting them. But the executive branch under Russ Vought thinks that the way to control an out-of-control administrative state is to shut off its funding, to impound its funds, which the president's not allowed to do. He's allowed to execute. Yeah. He's allowed to choose the means and methods to accomplish the goals of Congress, but he can't cut off funding already allocated. So they thought it'd be fun to do that. Not-for-profits and state programs that rely on federal funding, cut it all off with no notice, no time for anybody. Just like they cut off the $60 billion worth of aid through USAID. Let's find out. Let's see what happens when I push this button. And 2 federal judges have stepped in. One I'll talk about now. The other one was Judge McConnell up in Rhode Island, and put a stop to it. Now, in a new memorandum opinion, let me read to you what the judge said today about the arbitrary and capricious, the opposite of reasonable decision-making, if you can call it that, of the Trump administration. This is on page 29. The arbitrary and capricious review at this stage of the litigation remains largely unchanged from the court's earlier opinion. The touchstone of this inquiry is rationality, and defendants' actions flunk the test. That's Trump. Defendants still cannot provide a reasonable explanation for why they needed to freeze all federal financial assistance in less than a day to safeguard valuable taxpayer resources. Evaluating funding priorities can be done without needing to starve citizens or deny critical health services. The potential $3 trillion in financial assistance implicated by the freeze is a breathtakingly large sum of money to suspend practically overnight, Judge Ali Khan said. And rather than taking a measured approach to identify purportedly wasteful spending, defendants cut the fuel supply to a vast, complicated nationwide machine, seemingly without consideration for the consequences of that decision. Doesn't that sum up all of what we're watching with the Trump administration? It's as if he never served as president before. He just cut the fuel supply to the plane while it's flying. I mean, I hate to use plane analogies at this moment in time, considering there's been 5 major crashes while he's been president. Planes are falling out of the sky, which is an indication of a failing administration. But the judges like Judge Ali Khan have had enough. They're this close to finding somebody in contempt of court. She already said in the same order that she doesn't believe a word that Donald Trump and his administration says. That it appears to her that they're trying very hard to do an end run around federal judge orders in order to act like they're in compliance when they really aren't. And that is pissing the shit out of her. That's a legal term. Federal judges are starting quickly to realize, many of which are the same Jan 6 judges that handled all those Jan 6 convictions, that the Trump administration, its Department of Justice, and those lawyers that appear for it can't be trusted. And that means once you lose your credibility in a courtroom, you've lost everything. I don't have anything but my credibility. When I look a judge in the eye in a courtroom and I tell them that a body of law stands for a certain proposition or a case stands for a certain proposition, I'm right. And they can trust me, and they know they can trust me. They may not agree with my ultimate analysis, but they know if I tell them there's a case on point, that there's a fact on point, They know I am not dissembling. I am not lying. I am being candid to the tribunal. I am being honest with my advocacy. And that's to my client's advantage. And so the lawyers that are coming in there for the plaintiffs, right? The public interest groups, the states, the attorneys general, the groups like Democracy Forward, they all have wind at their sails because they are trusted by the federal judges, especially in sharp contrast to the lawyers for the Department of Justice that are taking unreasonable, not rational, irrational positions in front of the judges, telling them not to believe, it's like the old country song. You're going to believe me or your lying eyes, judge? And the judges are going, yeah, we're going to believe my lying eyes. This is one of the reasons we already have the success rate that we have. In the 92 cases, I can't believe the number. In the 92 cases in the last 5 weeks, in which there's 34 injunctions, in total, right? The winners are 34. And the Trump administration, in terms of winning, is 4. So they're 34 and 4. Those are Hall of Fame numbers, son. The 34 and 4 winning percentage, that's even better than the first time around. Now, there was a lot of fear the first. I remember getting together with people, even on the Legal AF YouTube channel that I curate. Some of my friends on Court Accountability and Court of Accountability Action, they were saying, I don't know, with all these federal judges that Trump appointed, and Biden not being able to get everything appointed before he left office, I'm worried that we're not going to be as successful in the second term as we were in the first term in pinning back Donald Trump and tying him down. And at the time I said, I don't see it that way. I think there's plenty of Biden, Clinton, Obama appointed judges in all the places that matter to our cases, like up and down the original 13 colonies. Well, not all the 13, the top 6 or 7 from New England, sort of down above the Mason-Dixon line. And then California, Oregon, and Washington, Illinois, maybe, Maryland, and DC. I'm not shouting out states. And if you live not in one of those states and you're fair-minded and progressive, moderate, independent, all of that, welcome. I'm not criticizing your state. I'm just saying these are where the judges live that matter to the things that matter to you by being here on Popok Live. So, that's why we're filing in Massachusetts, in Rhode Island, in New Hampshire, in Maryland, in Virginia, in DC, in Oregon, in Washington, in California. That's why we're staying away from the rest of the country. We're not filing in Louisiana. We're not filing in Texas. Nothing to see here. Move along. We're not, right? We're not filing in Florida. Yeah, because they're untrustworthy from a standpoint that we can't trust the judges there to do the right thing. And we certainly can't trust the courts of appeal that sit over those places. The 11th Circuit over Florida and Georgia. The 5th Circuit over Louisiana and Texas. Yeah, we got to stay away from them. There's a reason the MAGA Republicans and Trump flood the zone and they only go to those states. We go to the other ones. Now, there's nothing that MAGA can do about it, the fact that we're filing first in all these places. There's no second filing. Nobody on the other side can go and ask. I mean, I guess they can go to Texas and somebody can ask for a declaration that everything Donald Trump is doing is lawful and constitutional, but that's really not how ripe controversies, live controversies work. You got to have standing because you're being damaged. You're being injured by the policy, which means you're automatically not on the Trump side. And what I'm seeing, to give a summary of what I'm seeing with the tremendous success rate, is that Donald Trump is, because he's gone so rogue, because he's gone so far away from American values, to bring this Popok Live to a completion, because he's gone so far away from the anchors of our American values, because his executive orders are so attenuated from the branch of government that he occupies, and where he's trying to do a turf war with Congress. And Congress looks like they're trying to give him the turf that he wants. I mean, Lisa Murkowski, a Republican, said, don't give this out of control president, this Leviathan of a president, don't give him unfettered control. Don't cede territory and turf that's ours. We have a job to do. We have a branch that we occupy, right? We are the Article 1 of the Constitution is Congress. Welcome back. I'm honored. The Midas Touch Network gave me a new podcast called Popok Live on Tuesday nights on YouTube, right here on the Midas Touch Network and on Legal AF as well. It's freewheeling. It's unscripted. It's unfiltered. Nobody tells me what to say. Never have, never will. Right here, only on the only independent news and analysis network out there on the Midas Touch Network and on Legal AF. Join me on Tuesdays. We got a growing audience. We're hitting almost 500,000 in views and downloads, and that's all because of you. So until my next reporting on Popok Live, my next reporting on the Legal AF YouTube channel that I curate, or Legal AF the podcast, all things Legal AF, I'm Michael Popok. And I'm reporting. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.